What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Taking It Deep. It is your favorite time of the week, at least this week. It's Saturday. We got a lot to talk about. I'm in the building. You can see my name, TheGodfrey. I'm the Godfrey. That is my Twitter, Instagram, and you can find me on Facebook at Taking It Deep. I got Toxic Mike on the other side of the controls. You are there, right?
I'm here. I'm ready to rock and roll. A little countdown went off a little early, but we're good to go. I think I saw you.
Audience.
I saw you in the room. Music will be starting soon or something like that. Thank you for the assist. No, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Music
on a special Saturday afternoon edition of the show.
Yeah, I was already out in the hot, sweaty ass sun, starting my day off with a shit show of a softball game. No one wants to hear about that, but
I do.
I don't want to bore my audience.
Let's hear about
it.
Well,
it's people. You ever play? You're not a sports guy, but have you ever played a game that you were experienced in? You were playing another team that wasn't experienced and had no fucking idea what the fucking rules were, and we're just making shit up as they go along because they had no clue whatsoever.
Well, that's usually that's what kind of drunk barbecue.
Well, the sad thing is they weren't drunk, and the ump didn't know the fucking rules either.
Oh, wow.
In baseball, if you get hit by a pitch, you get on base. But in softball, it's like less than 5 miles per hour and it's underhand. So if a pitch hits you, it's just a ball.
Oh.
This guy gave someone a base and the bases were loaded and they scored a runoff. I'm like, you got to be fucking shitting me. I've been playing softball for damn near 20 years and I've never fucking seen that in my goddamn life. I've never seen it. Never seen it.
What age is the age that men start playing softball? Because, I mean, there is a distinct changeover from baseball to softball at a certain age for men.
I mean, I would still play baseball, but the problem is baseball leagues are less plentiful because of how harder the sport is compared to softball. So I would say maybe like 22, 21 people start playing, actually, if it's post-baseball life, so to speak.
Gotcha.
So it's for fun. It's competitive, the league I play in, but I don't play in like super competitive leagues where dudes are like, out of their fucking minds, ready to like flatten someone's tires over something,
Yeah.
That's where I draw the line. So I usually do a co-ed league. It's pretty fun. And, just to get some fun out there. But, that was today and wanted to start the show half an hour earlier. But no good deed goes unpunished. We let the team wait because they had not enough players. And they were bitching their way all the way to the end of the game. And we should have just stuck to the rules and been like, no, fuck you. That's a forfeit. We'll take our win. Fuck you. If it was me, that's what I would have did. Because unless I know you, if I give you an inch, you take a mile, and now I'm not being rewarded for that same courtesy, right? And that goes up my ass.
So. Ew. It goes where?
Whatever.
Where does it go?
Up my ass. Up my ass. In a negative way. Yeah.
Is that the saying? It goes right up my ass?
It's a metaphorical peg.
Woo.
Someone's pegging me metaphorically.
I don't want anybody to do anything that goes up my ass.
Well, you're a pegger, Mike, right?
I mean, the way you said it, I'm a pegger, not a peggy.
No, that means you've been pegged.
Yeah, how is it that you've been pegged if you are a pegger? Explain that to
me. You're a receiver. You're a receiver. You caught it.
But if you're receiving, then it's not the pegger, it's the peggy.
You can't peg a girl. A guy would have to peg a guy.
You can't peg a girl? Why can't you peg a girl?
No.
Well, what do you mean you can't peg a girl?
Why would you can if you're?
Mean? What does pegging mean?
It means you caught one in the hole with a strap-on on.
Right. So why can't you peg a girl?
If you're a guy, why would you do that?
First off, it doesn't matter. Second off, you can peg a girl, but you don't.
But
need
if you're
the
a guy,
why you've got the equipment. So
yeah, unless your shit's faulty and it needs some air.
Right. But again,
I never been a problem.
You're the peggy. I'm the pegger.
No, I'm incorrect. Well, speaking of people bitching, I'll just get it off the table right now because I know it's all over social media, and people are talking about, student loan forgiveness.
Yes.
And to me, I don't give a shit if someone got it forgave. I know me and Mike kind of paid our loans on our own, the schools we both went to, right, Mike? We got some scholarship money. I paid mine off. I'm pretty sure you paid yours off.
I mean, we didn't go to college per se, We went to technical schools basically.
Right,
You're learning them within 6 months, not 4 years, kind of
right.
thing.
And if you have the talent, you have the talent in this industry. And with podcasting becoming what it was, the traditional route of going through a 4-year college to get on the radio just didn't seem feasible to me economically.
Right.
And if I really wanted to get what I wanted to do, podcasting didn't really exist as heavily maybe 25, 30 years ago, which, I was probably didn't even have hair on my balls yet. But anyway, point of me bringing that up is it's fake outrage that annoys me. It's not really if someone has a problem with the student loan forgiveness or they think it's a bad idea or it could be executed differently. It's the fake outrage. And the fake outrage is this: you're outraged by them spending tax dollars thinking it's going to hit your pocket. It's not, because what hits your pocket every year on time, on schedule, like the start of a day, is $800 billion in defense. And the people that were outraged about it were politicians, mostly on the right, some on the left, but I would say 99% on the right, that said, oh, you know, we shouldn't be paying people's debt. However, the White House did something that I thought was pretty gangster of them. And, some people might be butthurt that are listening to this that lean to the right. And I'm sorry, I'm a bad man. Bah, you might not like this. They were tweeting out a reply to people that were on the right of politicians that were saying, you can't do this, saying, tweeting a screenshot of their PPP loan forgiveness.
Yeah.
Some had 80,000, 100,000, as much as a million. And the thing about these PPP loans that I know personally from working at a certain company, which I'll leave nameless, is you're also, as a taxpayer, paying some of these salaries to these people that already make millions of dollars, have millions of dollars in the bank. I had a problem with how the PPP loan thing was rolled out in general. But with that being said, those people, okay, that's fake outrage. They're trying to make you mad so they can have fodder and something to attack because it's election season. They're not outraged. They want you to be outraged, and that's why it's fake. So you're being gaslighted 1,000%, and there's no doubt about it because I've seen it before, and I'll say it again. Um, you know, it's gaslighting. Don't let someone gaslight you because if you're upset about it, that's fine with me. I don't have a problem with you being upset about it, but I want you to have that same energy if government waste is your thing on all the government waste. And the one that blows my mind and nobody says anything about is almost $800 billion a year in defense, and it goes up every year. And it's not like it's going to the people we know, like troops and people serving in the army and doing service for the country. It's not like they're getting huge raises. It's going to defense contractors, right? And it's going to people that are CEOs. It's going to places that's really not benefiting us as Americans. Yes, you need defense as a country, but let's be honest. Just like pharmaceuticals and healthcare, the cost is bloated, and the bloat is built in on purpose for profiteering. So be mad about it, but I want you to keep that same energy for anything else. And the thing is you won't because you're not mad about it. You're mad because someone's telling you to be mad, and that's why I'm laughing at people that are getting all butthurt over it. Because guess what? It's 10 grand. These guys, like, I work for a company that are millionaires and they got free money out of your tax dollars, and you're like, I'm cool. You'll say I'm not good with that anyway. But I don't see you out in here in the streets of bitching about it, because if it was something that you really held near and dear, you would be talking about it already. You wouldn't be activated by some politician, squaring off on it and being a parakeet, and you're repeating it. That is fake as a fucking $3 bill. Did I make myself clear, Mike?
I think you did. I know that I've been paying attention to this. There you go. The crowd goes wild for Godfrey's take.
Someone didn't like
they
it.
went
They
a little
farted in
too
response.
wild. They went a little too.
Wow.
They got too into
Wow.
it and let one go. But I've also seen, the people that, and this upsets me too. This is just jealousy, and jealousy has no place in anything. I hate people that get jealous over other people winning or getting one for themselves or whatever.
We have a problem with that in this country. We have a big problem with that.
Yeah.
But keep going.
And the thing is, there's a lot of people that are going, well, I just paid off my student loan. Or then you got the people who paid off their student loan a couple of years ago. Like, I had to do mine. I had to pay off mine. You should have to pay off yours. Instead of just being like, you know what, I did what I did, and you're doing what you're doing. So there's a lot of outrage, fake outrage in that regard as well.
So I don't know if Laura heard me or not, but the White House was replying to tweets of GOP congressmen and senators, or congresswomen as well, saying you shouldn't be paying other people's debts, and they were retweeting their PPP loan forgiveness,
Right.
which I thought was fire,
Uh
and the
huh.
internet was lit up about it. Even if you didn't care about it, you could not see it. So yeah, and I agree with you, Mike. The thing is what people don't realize is this is why they're getting upset, and someone's telling them to be upset. All right, I'm going to tell you why. Because this could get struck down in the Supreme Court. I don't know if it will. So there's a chance it could not happen, and they say you don't have the authority. Now, here's the thing about that. If you want to be the Supreme Court and you want to be the people that take that money away, oh man, you are going to be villain number one. People will remember that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing they remember more is something you take away that you say they're going to have
Right.
versus something you've never got.
Right.
Right. And that's what happened. So, oh
Can,
well, that's all I'm
can I
going to
go
say on
ahead?
that.
Can I go ahead and put out
Go
a
on.
controversial take on it though that does upset me about this whole entire student loan forgiveness? Um,
Okay.
I'm not.
You're fired. No, go ahead.
I'm all. I'm okay with the student loan forgiveness. I don't mind it. I don't care. But somebody did. I think it was either on TikTok or on Instagram or somewhere had a take on it that I 100% agree with, because healthcare in this country is abominable. It's the worst thing ever, and the fact that as simple as we just had a child, and just the fact of the natural bringing a life into this world healthy as possible costs you upwards of 30,000, and the fact that cancer treatment, only if you have a lot of money can you get the best, and even with the regular quote regular cancer treatment, you're still spending an arm and a leg and going into complete debt over that. Somebody wrote out, we are forgiving debt for people who took on that debt. They chose to go to college. They chose to sign up for the school they signed up for. They chose to accept the terms of their loan. I do not have any sympathy for individuals that bitch about their student loan or how much it is. They chose to do that. There are other methods, other ways in today's world to learn that stuff. To complain about your student loan when you are the one who took on that debt, who took on that responsibility. Because they put it out there where it's like, what about loan forgiveness, debt forgiveness for people that, cancer or any other kind of disease or ailment or rare condition
Well,
that
that
has
should be
caused
happening
them
already.
that has caused them to go into extreme debt and caused them to start up GoFundMe's and caused them to start up beef and beers. I mean, me and you both know individuals who have done that, who have done fundraisers just to pay their medical bills. And I know that
Yeah.
we could probably name a bunch of other things, but that one struck true to me.
So I don't disagree with you, but here's the thing about that. There's a lot. There's a lot to unpack there. And one thing I'll unpack from what you just said is, you know, the government played a hand in letting these certain schools be able to be eligible to get these loans and deregulating that. And then there
Yeah.
are companies that are also private equity companies that made money off this, which was predatory. One I remember is Computer Learning Center, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I
you'll
went
laugh
there.
about this, Mike, because I did for about a week, and thank God I didn't get trapped in it. I was out, but that was for various reasons, not because of what we know. But I heard they had, and there was another one that had a video game creating course, and it was complete bullshit. The course, like, you learn the history of video games,
But
and there
but
was
these
nothing.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but these examples that you're giving are these fly by night places that maybe last a year or a couple of years, and they get out real fast. Like I'm 100% with you, because
They were around for a while
I
though.
went to Computer Learning Center, and I think it was 3 months after I went there they closed their doors, And the way they
Okay,
closed their
so you're
doors was
Jordanian.
their students showed up and there was just a sign on the door. It was like, yeah, we're no
You were
longer
part of
here.
that, huh?
What's that?
So did you have to pay it? Did you have to pay it, or was it forgiven?
I not to say it wasn't a lot of money, but I didn't take a loan. I paid like whatever their fee was, like that was paid up front already. Like
Gotcha.
because those type of schools, it's a couple of thousand.
So here's the thing about that too, and this is why I think the government had to step in. I worked in an industry selling cars, and I would get individuals approved all the time for auto loans at 0.9%, 1.9%, with credit scores that were completely unworthy. And this, there were certain parameters the bank had to meet. And I'm not criticizing the auto loans, but I'm saying is there is flexibility there. So what I would have did, and I don't think the banks were going to let them, is I would have knocked all the student loans down to 0% interest or 0.1 or something like that.
That's not
And
bad.
but that would
That's not
never
bad.
yeah, but that would never happen because that system is set up to make money and for them to perpetually be paying off loans. You know, for us not to have a system and say we want to push people toward education, and I'm a big believer in not everybody needs to go to college. That's bullshit they sold our generation, Mike,
Oh,
and
big time.
it's
And you see the price increase, and if you watch any of these documentaries or these behind the scenes kind of footage of like how it all became about and how Sally Mae became the biggest lender and the politics went into it and the money that goes into it and how it is quadrupled over time, and it absolutely has become a scam in regards to money making with because these young kids, and as Laura put up there, they're taking advantage of the kids. These kids
100%.
with dreams of being in these big positions and thinking that that piece of paper means something. Um,
So
and
back in the day, 200 and I heard a guy say that he went to UCLA for $240 a year at one point, and this is the 70s and 80s. If you look at the inflation of college outside of regular inflation we're experiencing now, it's ridiculous. And the
mhm,
point that I'm bringing this up is they are selling the dream, they are selling a product, and it's one of the greatest scams in the last 25 years. Now, let me be clear here: college is a necessary thing for a lot of things. Education is never bad, but when you're saying, "Hey, we're going to charge you 80 grand, but you're going to be a teacher, and we're going to invest in our people by you being a teacher, and you got to come out making 40 grand," that's fucking bullshit. There's got to be some kind of mathematical equation here about what a degree is worth versus what you can charge for it. And these guys can make up literally any price. There's a board of trustees, there's all this convoluted bullshit that goes in with it. And I just feel like, if you need to be a doctor, sure, college. There's certain things that definitely need college. A lot of stuff that needs college. You want to be an engineer? I believe you need college. You could take the long way to be an engineer sometimes, and maybe not even go to college and prove you could do it. However, I do think that colleges sell the dream,
yes,
right? They sell
absolutely,
the experience.
because you could go to college and get out of college and realize you actually do suck at that job that you got. You might have the book smarts for it, but in the real life world, you might suck at it, or you might get out there and get into a job like you said that because you're brand new, they're gonna pay you shit.
Yeah, for me, man, I would make some kind of, I don't know about a law, but some kind of requirement where if you're to declare a major, you can change it. But if you're going to go to a 4-year university, it's going to be a little bit harder for you to get in. And then, some people have to explore in 2 years of community college,
Mhm.
uh, but that's been a great scam that's been going on for a while. And when you're giving people 9%, 7%, and the thing that people aren't talking about is in the 70s and 80s and 90s, even for people to come out of low income neighborhoods, college was a vehicle to do that, right? Um, and what cracks me up is that they're making it harder and they're taking advantage of some of those families because some of these families don't know if they're making the right choice or not because you might have a pop that is just a blue collar guy. He's like, it's good. My son's going to college. I'm proud of him. You don't know the ins and outs. There is so much political jargon and bullshit around these loans. You need to be a goddamn banker or a lawyer to fucking decipher what you're getting into sometimes. And they're like, sign the
Some
dotted line here.
sometimes, but I also just like with a car, any kind of loan that you get, it is that whole thing of buyer beware. It is that whole thing of you know, yes, less educated people aren't going to go through the hoops and read, and but who's at fault for that? Like, yes, we can feel bad for them, and yes, we can say they were taken advantage of, but somebody like yourself or me or others are going to take the time to look at this and go, okay, so what is the interest on this? Okay, what does it mean? Okay, what am I paying monthly? How long am I paying? Like, and then decipher whether or not it's worth it, um, in the long run, and if you will be able to. There's so many people out there that just sign the dotted line because it's that instant gratification. I've done it in my personal life. You know, you want something, you see something, it's there, and you know all you have to do is say, I'm going to charge it to this card, you know, and no money's transferred, and that item gets shipped to you. And I know I'm going on a very super small scale. Like, let's just say a new console got released tomorrow. You know, a new Xbox. And I go, I want that Xbox. That Xbox is $600. I don't have $600.
But you're not
But
signing a finance
but
contract for
but
that, though.
but what I'm saying is, no, I'm not. But you are. Anytime you use a credit card, I'm saying it's on a smaller scale. I can go ahead and say, here's my credit card, and I get that item right away. Where these kids and these parents, all we have to do is sign this, and boom, you're in college. Well, I don't. They don't start paying off that loan
Well, yeah,
for
you
four
have to get
months down the
acceptance, though,
line. So it's kind of
right?
like you're not thinking about it because we got you in college. That's all that mattered. And then when they start getting those
Also,
bills, it's an issue.
they made a bill a while ago that didn't allow you to go put college loans in bankruptcy, and I think that's bullshit. If a billionaire could put billions and billions of dollars in bankruptcy, then you should be able to do that as well.
Yeah.
And it hits your credit. It hits your credit. That's the penalty you pay, just like anything else that you throw into bankruptcy. And
Here's another thing. Another thing, real fast. I'm sorry. I just these things are coming to me. You got me going, Godfrey. You got me going with this one.
you're wet.
You wow. What? Sorry, mom. But there's also these kids out there that go to college. They they major in whatever they think they want to be, and then 4 years down the line, they got a side job somewhere, or they did something, or they found something out, and they're living life, and all of a sudden they don't want to go into business doing what they went to college for.
Well, I'll give you one that is them doing their profession they went for. In my position where I used to sell cars, I used to see people come in that were post medical school, that were doctors, that were paying off these loans. They were doing their best to pay them off, right? And they were working hard to do it. And you see how much it cost, and they're buying certain things, they're budgeting it, and they're trying to get it done and get it down. I know people where, and this is where people don't realize, this is the part that we haven't talked about, and we'll close out on this, is how does it affect the economy? People getting $10,000 of student relief. I said this to people I know that sell cars. They're going to be in your showroom. In my industry, they're going to be buying more food. They're going to be buying more goods, right? If they get this money, the stuff they wouldn't be able to buy before. A guy that's a billionaire that gets a tax cut, he doesn't need 10 cars. Maybe he will, but his money's not gonna have as much velocity. And the middle class spends more of their income than someone that's in the top 1% or even the upper middle class. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is when you have these loans on people like this, they're not able to enter the housing market. They're not, they have to pay these loans off, and that negatively affects the economy. And
Right.
I know people that were doctors paying their loans off on time, taking care of the debt, and they felt like they will never get the fuck out of it until like their 40s, and they knew what they were getting into. But at the same time, we have to stop. And this ties into healthcare as well, what you brought up. We have to stop exploiting our own people for personal and financial fucking gain. And
Never
that
gonna
is the
happen. But I
system that
hear
is
you.
set up. And well, listen, if they eventually the rubber hits the road, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, pennies go to the principal, 100%. Like I said, the banks can have this flexibility. I've seen it in loans. I've seen people that have no fucking business getting a loan for a car that get approved, and you have to get approved. It's not like, hey, sign here. Like, there's parameters the bank has. Selling a car, we would love to be like, yes, you're approved. Have a nice day. It doesn't work like that. We take it to the bank. Car's got to hit a certain parameter. It's got to be a book out. They got to have money down sometimes. They got to have a good enough credit. They got to show income if they're below a certain credit score, and all that stuff goes into that. It doesn't go into a student loan in certain scenarios. And I think, you know, if we really wanted to invest there, let's not talk about paying off the debt. Let's talk about making these loans easier, college more affordable, other jobs more accessible, and training outside of college. Let's talk about, you know, how about we do a 0.1% interest loan? We loan companies federally to or money to companies all the time at a next enough rate. So it could definitely be done for students. So to me, the system's fucked up. The government's lending that by helping deregulation, by listening to lobbyists that were tied to these banks that profited off this. And guess what? The roost is coming because at a certain point, when boomers die off and you have people that are still paying these, your economy's gonna fucking shrivel up like a motherfucker. And they know it's
Uh-huh.
coming. So guess what, motherfuckers? Your move.
Yep.
Your move. And
Right.
and the thing is, at the end of the day, I am not going to get anything from paying off the student loan. I know Mike's not. I don't think so. I don't think Mike had any student loans. We
No.
both paid our shit off. We had to pay 12 grand off. Okay. That's a roughly 10, 12 grand, whatever, something around there. You know, Mike probably got it for 5 and jerked someone off in the back
12
with eye
grand.
contact. But
Wow.
yeah. Wow. All right. I'm calling, making some calls after this fucking show.
12
No,
grand?
but
That's what you paid?
no, I paid less than that. I got some scholarship money, but
I think I paid like 6 grand.
wow. Yeah. You jerked someone off with eye contact.
Yeah,
So,
his name was Fish.
yes. Yeah, that's what I was just. I wasn't gonna name names, but you know, now that you're doing it, yeah. Hey, Fish, how's it going? So, not to harp on that, but I just want people don't get outraged because someone else tells you to get outraged. Sit back and think about it. How does it really affect you? Is it going to make your taxes go up? If that was the case, all the shit that we're paying would go up. These guys spend money like it's water. Let's not pretend anybody in Washington D.C. is fiscally conservative. That's bullshit. 1,000%. Nobody is. They're fiscally conservative when it's politically expedient to do so, not when it's fiscally conservative and they have to stand on their morals and their high ground for it. That's bullshit because it there's money in this country and they're like, oh, it's all gone. We can't do that. Oh, we need another battleship. We have like 25,000. Yeah, no, fuck you.
Stop
Fuck that.
talking like that. I work in the DoD section.
Well, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Then
I know.
you know.
I'm there.
I'll close it out with this. I have a friend that retired out of the army. He was a cook in the army. He was a sergeant. And he said every quarter they would say to him, Sergeant, you need to buy some things. You need to take care of the budget. That's not how a budget works. They were doing that so they spend all the money so they don't lower their budget.
Right.
Right?
Right. You have a
So
you have a
that's
cap. You got to
but you'll
spend.
never have surplus if you're purposely spending money. And he told me shit would be just like crazy, like, oh, we'll buy a painting or a screw is like $10.
Dude, in a company I used to work for, not the company I'm currently at, literally we would buy HDMI and DisplayPort cables, just off the shelf ones, for like, 10, $15, and then we'd slap our own labels on them and sell them to defense companies for like $500.
That's
because
exactly the
because defense companies have to buy from pre-approved sources that fall into certain criteria and have certain AS 9100 and all that kind of stuff. So they can only buy from certain companies that have been pre-approved. So they can't buy that themselves. But the company that's buying it's a whole fucking thing.
So, Mike,
crazy.
let me ask you a question. Does that sound like capitalism by definition?
It sounds like I make a lot of money.
Yeah, no. So let me tell you something.
Yes, it does.
I get it. My brother builds, helicopters, right? So he works in that space. He does the manual labor part of it. But so I understand what you're saying. But the comparison is in this bill, that one of these bills that are coming up, prescription drugs now could be negotiated by Medicare, by the government. There was actually a bill in place similar to what you're telling me, but not the same thing, where they were legally not allowed to negotiate cheaper drug prices. They had their profit through lobbyists built the fuck in by law. Mm-hmm. That everybody wants to scream socialism and communism. That, my friend, is not capitalism. That is bullshit. That is rigging the game.
And Brad Huber says, I had no idea what I wanted to do in college. Realized I was just wasting money, so I left after 2 years. Still got a great job making over $100K a year. By the way, Brad, can I borrow some money?
Brad is one of our valued USPS employees. If there's snow and rain and dog poop, he is out there.
Oh, I have another buddy by the name of Brian who does that. I have a couple of friends that work for the United States Postal Service, and I'll tell you what, good thing that they make good money. I don't think I could do that because in the extreme heat and the extreme cold when they're out there doing that shit, not me, bro, not me.
So let's talk about this trend that I've been reading about called
This
quiet quitting.
trend. It's from TikTok.
Play that video.
And it's called "What's Her Name? Wake Up." What is it? No,
no, isn't like Chrissy, wake up.
That's it. That's what it was.
Like this. That's been in my fucking head. I've been saying it to myself.
You sent me two videos. Is it the one with the conservatives or the one with the John's Finance Tips one?
John's Finance Tips.
John's, okay. I just wanted to make sure because I didn't know which one. Let me click this button over here. Now I sound like I'm being fish.
You're gonna double click your mouse.
Click that. Double click this over here, and bring this up, and then take that away from your face because it's covering your beautiful face. All right, now here we go.
Hey Jim, I saw you came in today to the office at 8 a.m. on the dot. Yeah. And I'm noticing you've only been handing in assignments on time. Yep. And you've really only been focusing on your tasks and responsibilities. That's right. So, what's wrong? What's wrong with what? Well, you used to come in early at 6 a.m., you used to stay till 9 if I asked you, used to hand in all of your assignments early, and you did the work of the entire team. What happened? I'm quiet quitting. I realized I didn't like working 80 hours a week, surviving on nothing but caffeine, anxiety, and a small glimmer of hope that I'll get a 5% pay bump at the end of the year. Oh. We've got this big project due end up. Would you look at that? It's 5 p.m. I'm off. Have a nice night. Hey, Jim.
I 100% absolutely insanely despise this whole idea and that it's even a fucking thing. But go ahead.
Well, that guy's example, you don't think like if you're at a company and you're working hard and you're trying to do this and people are taking advantage of you and you're not having a good work-life balance, you don't think you should kind of be able to pull back?
No. You're going the wrong way with this. The fact that individuals are going so far and above and beyond for their jobs in a way that is a societal thing when a group of people decide to start doing the job they're paid for. Like the fact that people
he's doing what they require him though.
No. So
he's not doing less. That's what
No. What I'm saying is, before this whole quiet quitting, so this scenario, the guy says he's quiet quitting. The boss is saying, well, you used to do this, this, and this. The fact that we live in a society, the fact that our workforce feels the need in some way, shape, or form to go above and beyond on a regular basis. The thing that I've learned, and I think a lot of people have learned in business and in work, is that the more work you output, the more you put out, the more that you do, the more above and beyond you go, the more the company expects that. I had my mother at one point because it was just overwhelming at work sometimes, was saying, why don't you take some work home and complete it? And I said, no, that sets a precedence for my company because they don't care how.
I see what you're saying.
They don't care how you get it done, but if you get it done, if you get more than your time allotted at work, your 40 hours paid, allows you to get done, and you're taking it home to get done more, well, then they're going to get used to you getting that much done because that becomes the norm. So I'm all about, before even this whole quiet quitting bullshit, which is just a fucking catchphrase right now, started becoming a thing, about, no, do your job, do it properly, take your time, and work the hours they told you to work, and if they're going to ask you to stay longer, get paid for that, all that kind of shit. This whole thing that quiet quitting is the thought process that the majority is now getting that idea and saying, oh, I don't have to bust my ass. The only time you should have to bust your ass at work and do extra is if you're looking for a promotion, is if you're going for a job that's higher up. If you're doing that, if you're trying to impress somebody in terms of to get a higher position with higher pay, then absolutely do that. I've done that because once you get that higher position with new roles and responsibilities, then you kick back and go ahead and do what is just required with your job. The whole idea of quiet quitting is bullshit.
So here's the thing. I think it's kind of interesting. I guess you have a problem with the phrasing and the terminology, but
No, no, not
my
the
thing.
phrase. I do have a problem with the phrasing and terminology, but I just have a problem with the whole fact that this thought process is a thing. That this
Well,
idea, this thought process, is an actual thing right now. Like the fact that people are just starting to realize, oh, I could just do what is
oh,
required of me.
okay. Right. So you think they should have did that already? All right, I get what you're saying
Yes.
now. All right. So, but here's the thing about that. I want to give you a scenario that lends itself uniquely to our country, and we were talking about this before, which makes people have to be in that position sometimes, depending on their health situation. If you live in England, you live in Canada, you live in most developed Western countries, your job, your benefits aren't tied to your job, right? Your ability to be able to go to the doctor for your family is not tied to your job, right?
Okay.
So you have the ability to be, maybe explore your passion and start a small business or go to a different one, right? And I think it's uniquely American because the way they do it is they're like, hey, here's your benefits package. Come on, this is really attractive, and you're taking the best offer you can get, right? But in some professions, like teaching, you're kind of trapped sometimes, depending on where you're at in the country. Like we live in the Northeast, there's a lot more opportunity than say in like Nebraska, right? And you might have to move from there. But the thing about it is, I've been in situations where I've learned, not a current situation, but in the past, where I'm trying to work harder. I'm trying to improve the business overall. I've been in sales a lot. And then I found out that my leadership was quiet quitting. Now, that wasn't the term, but what I mean is they were they didn't want to expose any extra work, so they weren't trying to improve any gaps in the business, so to speak, right? That might come up. I worked through a merger with Singular and AT&T, and I saw that going on a lot because AT&T bought them. Usually, the winner takes over the loser. The loser is the one being bought. Um, I've seen that happen several times at several places, and you're like, why does this keep happening over and over again? And then you realize, oh, it's because my boss's boss doesn't give a fuck about it, even though it's a problem. So to me, a version of quiet quitting could be like, I want to give more and I can't because they actually don't give a fuck if you give more. And I am with you on what you said, Mike. One thing that in sales brings a different dynamic, kind of more than what you're doing is you'll see what's annoying is when they say, oh, why can't you do what so and so is doing? Right. And there's always one or two people that are just like crushing it in your sales force, right? And an old director I used to work for used to say to me or everybody, I love that we're getting the numbers like this, but are we doing it the right way? And in sales, there's always some motherfucker cheating. And then your boss holds you to this standard because they become the standard. And I refuse to live by any standard. When I do sales, I do what I got to do. I hit my numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk to me about anybody else's. I don't give a fuck. I'll make my money. I'll hit the goals that you put before me. I'll work hard to get them. But I don't care what that guy does because when you find out he's screwing the pooch in 5 months, you're not going to fucking apologize for holding me to a standard that isn't fucking possible. And in sales, that's annoying as shit. So sometimes in sales, my job before the last one, I was where you were at. I was like, oh, so you don't want to give me any work life balance. You want to break balls about being 10 minutes late when I stay 3 hours late. I'm not an hourly employee. I'm a commission only employee. My paycheck is dependent on production. If I don't make a sale, then I owe money because there's draw versus commission. This is my previous job. And you want me to stay extra in case I may get a sale and work 12 hours a day. To that, I said, fuck you. And I will be going home when I'm going to go home. And I devised a plan where I worked because in that industry, you got paid on gross profit, or at least where I was. So if you weren't there to complete the sale, you lose out on the gross profit and you have to split the commission. So I started working with a partner where we would just split commission right down the line. So that way we make sure we hit top level bonus. And they were like, oh no, you can't do that. I'm like, where does it say this in the rule book? Why don't you want me to do that? Because they wanted me to have to fucking chase the cheese harder. And I
Right.
was like, fuck you. If you want my talent, you want my services, and I was good at my job, that's what you're gonna have to deal with. Otherwise, I'm fucking out of here. And I used to tell him, like, listen, your job, you think you're great for giving me 3 years. I took me 5 fucking years to get 3 weeks of vacation at that job. And they're patting themselves on the back, like, yeah, that's fucking great. No, motherfucker. I could go to Target and get 2 weeks in the first year. Go fuck yourself. So And I didn't like quiet. I gave effort, and in sales, I feel you have a duty to take care of your customer to the nth degree, or as possible. That's how you build a following. That's how people are loyal to you. They know you'll work hard. You're there for when you need them. So I never would pull back on a customer when they needed something extra. I would give them as much as possible. But for my employer, yes, I'm going to pull back on you, because guess what? I have a life too. When you're making these demands that I be there, and you're at home making these demands via text message when you're with your fucking family and I'm working the 12th hour, yeah, suck my dick from the back. That's how I feel about that. And that's a lot of the hypocrisy and bullshit that goes on. It's like, oh, we want you to be positive at work. We want you to love it. We want you to just treat everybody well and be in this great mood. But by the way, we're not going to drink the Kool-Aid that we're dispensing you. You have to sip that because it tastes like ass. I can't do it, but you need. And a powerful manager, one of the most powerful managers that you could be if you're a manager, is the guy that will say, listen, move aside. I'll show you how to do this. I'll do it with you. And you're like, wow, okay. And but the guy that says, do what I say, not what I do, the worst. Okay.
But,
And that is, that means if he's holding you a different standard, right?
right. So and
The same.
I'm 100% agreement with you. I think that my industry is very different than other industries, and I learned this, discussing with Laura about her. She's a dental assistant, and her business, her corporation, her company works differently than mine. In my company, in my workplace, like, we have roles and responsibilities that are written out for each individual person per their job requirements. And so the way you were speaking was a lot of managers wanting something, or managers wanting extra, or dictating that you have to do a certain thing, or blah 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 blah. In my workplace, in my industry, roles and responsibilities is a big thing, where they have to be it has to be laid out what your roles and responsibilities are. There have to be actual documented things that tell you what your hours are, what the policies are, what the policies and everything has to be laid out. So you have a reference to go, well, wait a second, that doesn't say that here. Wait a second, that doesn't say that here. And it is a huge, powerful tool to, if somebody were to question you on doing more, or going the extra mile, or staying late, or what have you. Well, where does it say that in my roles and responsibilities? Where does that say that in the company policy? So I have that luxury of going to bat with that, and then if there is a problem, going above that manager's head to an HR personnel, or somebody, to say, I'm being asked to do X, Y, and Z, but nothing states that is a requirement of my job title, which empowers me. And that's kind of why this whole quiet quitting thing is so foreign to me in terms of an idea, because I've been doing it for so long.
So what you're saying is people should stand up for themselves.
Absolutely.
Some people don't have the ability to do that, Mike. Though that some people, and
But
I know managers
that's
take
their
advantage
fault.
of people like that, but it's not within them, though. By the way, Brad said that's why I'm self-employed, and I was a male stripper, and I asked him if he got PPP.
But some people can't do
down
that.
with
But
PPP?
that's the whole idea of the line from Caddyshack. The world needs ditch diggers too. Like, you have this hierarchy of the economy and where people work, and if you don't have that in you, if you don't have the gumption to say this kind of stuff, or to take a stand for yourself, or to want to be compensated properly for the extra work that you're doing, then that's where you just kind of stay where you are, or go down rather than moving up. And that's where you get the resentment for management, or for the company, or for corporate America. And that's where you get this whole idea of quiet quitting, because it's easier to say I'm quiet quitting rather than to stand up for yourself, to your boss, to the company, and say, I'm not getting treated properly. This is not a part of what I signed up for. This was not a part of my job description. and
I think
either
that's a
you pay me
nightmare for
more
some
or
people,
I'm
though,
just
Mike.
gonna I'm not going to take on this responsibility.
I think that's a nightmare for some people, though, Mike. Some people
It
don't
is
have that
absolutely.
literally in their personality. Like it makes them sick to the point with anxiety. I'm not that
Oh yeah,
person.
absolutely. But it
I'll go
does.
head to head with you. But
It
and I
does. But
feel
then
like
that's
sometimes
the
people prey on those people.
they 100% do, and they'll be doing it for thousands and thousands of years going forward, long after we're gone. And it sucks, and you want to kind of smack a person and make them see it your way, or make them see it the proper way to better themselves, but it's just not going to happen.
I have a
And
solution for those people.
that's the kind of just the way it is.
I have a solution for those people.
Okay.
We've heard of quiet quitting. Let's talk about quiet farting. And
Jesus
if your
Christ.
boss is treating you like that, what you need to do is crop dust him every time you walk by his desk. You know, like just
If you have a
crack the
boss
door.
that you do not like, and that boss isn't going anywhere, that manager, that supervisor, that boss, and you have to
You got to
deal with him
change
every
jobs.
day, you should be getting a new job. Like, because
Yeah, no, I agree.
we spend more time at our workplace awake and
Mhm.
than we do at home.
Yeah,
The
I
fact
mean,
that you
I was in
deal
a
with some
situation.
place where you don't like that person is ridiculous.
I was in that situation, as you know, a couple years ago, and I was like, "That's it. I'm fucking out.
Yeah.
I'm making a change," and I did, and it's not easy, but we're gonna move on though, because let's make it a little bit more lighthearted. Let's talk about chicken, because that's important. Chicken is important. Wings.
Okay.
Did you know, Mike? Wings used to be the garbage that no one wanted, right? Like
I
they were
know that.
before the '60s, they were treated like literal garbage, thrown away by butchers, preparing the birds for sale, and in some cases sold on the cheap to lower income customers who use wings to make soup stock.
Yeah, I know that, and you're probably going to get to this in the history of Buffalo Wings. No, I almost said Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wings.
Well, we will be talking about them soon, so I'm glad you.
Yeah, and in Buffalo, New York, it was late at night and the kitchen was already closed, and they just somebody wanted food or something to that degree, and they said, just make me anything you got. And they had leftover wings and they had some hot sauce, and they threw it together with blue cheese, and that's how it got invented, and that's how it got so popular. But yeah, I know it's kind of like the same thing as how lobster is like the insect of the sea, which used to be just for poor people, and now it's all fancy. But go ahead.
I'll eat a lobster's ass. But so
What?
listen,
What?
in 19
Would you
in
peg a
64,
lobster?
no, definitely not. In '64, that changed in Buffalo, right? That's the history of wings. But I wanted to talk about quality of buffalo wings. Does the quality of the wing matter, or is a wing a wing? Are all wings wing?
No. To me, the quality matters. The size matters. The beefiness.
Too big isn't necessarily good though, Mike. That means they pumped a lot of stuff into it,
Don't care.
and it's not. You don't care.
care.
All right. So is it?
Don't care.
If it's
Bigger is
delicious,
better.
it has sauce in it.
No,
bigger
when I
for
go
your
to
mouth, the better?
Skeeters up the street, and I get wings, they always come out big, plump, and juicy. And
Mike's
and
like, listen, listen. I need you to. I want those wings to look like a baby's arm holding an apple because I want
Right.
to put it in my mouth.
Absolutely.
I want to suck the meat off.
A wing is not a wing.
Suck it.
Wing sauce is not the same everywhere you go. Blue cheese isn't the same everywhere you go. When you find a spot that has everything
When you
just
bring
lined
me,
up properly, oh, it's amazing.
if I go to a wing spot, I should start doing like a Dave Portnoy version of wings, right? When I go to a wing spot and you bring out to me a Ken's blue cheese packet, you're automatically that's minus 5 points right there.
No.
I don't Ken's blue cheese.
I want
Like,
my
if I could buy it,
I want
want
my
real
blue
blue
cheese to
cheese.
be thick. I want chunks of blue cheese in there. I want a chunk of blue cheese the size of a grape in there.
And for my ranch fans, I feel the same way. Don't bring me a packet of fucking ranch. I want real ranch. If you like ranch, that's okay. But I don't want any bullshit prepackaged. I want like either homemade or you bought it from a place that has like pitching, blue cheese and you put it there. So
Which one are you?
I bring this up.
Are you
I'm a blue cheese guy.
No. Are you a drum or a what is it? Drumette?
Flat?
Yeah.
Flat. I changed over the years. I'm a flat person now.
No, I'm a drum. I leave them to the end because those are my favorites.
I know. Yeah, I know. I knew you'd be a drum person. You greedy motherfucker. So I was looking at this article, and it's on Eat This, Not That, right? So Buffalo Wild Wings, all these people. So they went through a lot of places. Like, what's the quality of their wing, right? And you know, they use low quality wings because they're trying to sell it to you cheaper. I'd rather be charged more for higher quality than low quality, in my opinion. Some people just they want it cheap. I'm like, that's gonna suck.
Nothing is worse than when you get your wings and they're little tiny baby wings, like barely any meat on them.
Man.
Fuck that.
Dude, I was in a Dominican Republic and they have these theme restaurants. It was all inclusive, right? And one was supposed to be a sports bar. I'm talking it's like 2 a.m, right? I'm up, I'm drunk. I get wings. They were tiny wings. They were so tiny. I asked the bartender and he didn't even understand. I was like, "Are those pigeon feet? Are you serving me fried pigeon feet?" Because I felt like I was eating.
Laura goes to this place and does the same thing, and I'll open up the wings, and it's like the amount of wings in there should fill up the whole container, but it's only like half the container filled because they're so tiny and baby. It's horrible.
Get a smaller fucking container. You know what I mean? Like have some showmanship or something. I don't know. Like at least fool me. And the thing is, I'm not like you. If a wing's not super big, I don't want it to be tiny, but not super big. I'm fine because I look at science and I look at the size of chickens today versus chickens now, and turkeys and all that. And turkeys aren't really that big, so I don't like people fucking pumping up my meat with shit. But I know you don't care about that.
I would love them to pump up my meat.
They do. They pump up your meat, my friend. If you want the big ones, that shit's getting pumped up. That ain't natural.
Please pump up my meat.
They're making all your fucking chicken wings like the Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior of chicken. They're like, oh yeah, I want that one. I just saw him do a body splash. That's the one. But these chains, Buffalo Wild Wings has been accused. They're number one on this list. He said, yes, the word wings is right in their name, but no, the wings you get at a BW3 or B-dubs are not. That stands for Buffalo Wild Wings. You get it, B-dubs, BW3, are not very good quality, at least. Not all of them. Per taste testers from Business Insider, the wings with milder flavors from Buffalo Wild Wings tend to be dry and bland, meaning most of what you're tasting with most of their wings has less to do with the quality meat and more to do with the potent sauces, which people do try to hide shitty wings with sauce. Absolutely.
But Buffalo Wild Wings has amazing sauce. They're overpriced, not the best wings I've ever had, but they shine with their sauce and their atmosphere.
Yeah.
I have Buffalo Wild Wings sauce up in my fridge.
You don't even like sports, though.
I know. I go there, and there's like 1,000,001 TVs, and I'm going, what is this? What's going on? But I even have...
Mike's like, can you put on the Robot Wars? Or is there a live stream on Twitch of a Magic gathering? Can you put that on the screen? They're like, get out. Get out now. You're going to take your food to go.
Brad, I did not know that this was a thing. He says, can we talk about how expensive KFC is? It's great, but way overpriced. I thought it was not overpriced.
Brad, I'm so glad you brought that up because KFC, my friend, is on this list. They're on this list.
Are they overpriced?
Well, KFC relaunched their chicken wings a few years ago, and I have bought their chicken wings. The honey barbecue one I thought was pretty good. But you could tell when you eat these chicken wings that they are fucking low quality bullshit. They relaunched chicken wings a few years back in 2019. But maybe it would be better if they stayed off the menu. I agree. First off, their wings are boneless. That's not a wing. But they did have wing ones. And so they're not in fact wings at all, but shaped chicken tenders, cheaply churned out, heavy on salt and cholesterol, and the fat, especially the Nashville hot variety. You do much better to go for a grilled chicken on their signature fried chicken if you absolutely have to have it. Are they overpriced? Brad, I agree 100%. 1,000% they're overpriced.
I'm looking at their prices. I'm looking at their prices right now. 8-piece meal with 2 large sides, 4 biscuits, $21.99.
What? Oh, is that for chicken though? That's not for wings.
Oh, are we talking about wings? Okay.
I think he's talking about wings, but
Kentucky Fried Wings, 5 pieces, 6 pieces, $5. So almost $1 a wing, I guess. A little bit less. Yeah.
I feel like KFC wings belong in their own category with other wings that are from fast food places.
I don't think that this is that bad. Kentucky Fried 12-piece, $9.99, 24-piece, $18.99. I don't think that's that bad.
Well, let me give you an alternative, Brad, if you're ever in this area. I don't know if they're up in your area. crispy crunch chicken with a K. We like to call it in Philly gas station chicken because they're in a lot of gas stations, and it's cheaper and better. Don't sleep on it because it's in a gas station. It's not seedy, and it's pretty good. Um, but these chains, yeah, I expect this, and definitely the fast food chicken wing is definitely a different wing. Like I've had wings where you eat them and they're fried so fucking hard that the fucking bone is breaking in half, like when you bite it through it. Like it's a weak hollow
Yeah.
bone. Have you ever had that?
Yeah, it's
I don't
the
like. I'm
worst.
not a fan of that either. It's the
Worst.
worst, and it cut you and fucking. I actually broke a tooth on a chicken wing once.
Yeah.
No, no lie. But also on this list is Chili's and Fridays. But we'll go to Fridays first. Fridays came in at number 2, known for wings, ribs, apps, and more, which they are. The national chain is not known for top quality food. And per insider tastings, when it comes to wings, the offerings are anything but. Their reviewer excoriated the wings, saying, "Nothing could have been prepared for me just how bad these wings were. They were tough and dry and tasted as they spent eons in the freezer, probably did, then in a microwave, probably did, my friend. Their skin was soggy, that's the worst, and chicken itself tasted fishy, which means they were in the freezer with a fucking fish." I mean, Mike, you did food service. That's a pretty good guess there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Disgusting. And you know what? Fridays, nah, fuck that, man. There's other stuff you got to get. But yeah, I mean, just to let you guys know, I'm not a big chain restaurant fan, but I will go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put my nose up to it, but understand that most of their shit is pre-made.
Oh, yeah.
Most
If you're out, like especially at a mall or a shopping complex of some kind, and you want to get a quick lunch, you're gonna or a quick dinner, you're gonna stop at one of these places like Fridays or Chili's or stuff like that. And yeah, I know that a lot of their stuff is like fast food preparation kind of thing. You know, get it done as quick as
Mike,
possible,
you
as
must be
cheap as
clairvoyant
possible.
as well, because Chili's is on the list at number 4. Crazy.
Such
There, a
an
panel
ass.
of taste testers from Live collectively had little positive to say about the wings from Chili's. One reviewer said they were not meaty at all and tasted like liquid smoke. Mike, remember when we tasted the wings on air, the Cheetos wings?
Yeah.
And that was a wing VR, I believe, from Applebee's. It wasn't really impressive, right? Like it was
No.
like how
No.
it was like, wow, this is a fucking gimmick, and we just did it for shits and giggles. And I'm like, this is not good.
Can we? I think that I know I think this that the best wings I've ever had have always come from a bar. Wings from pizza places, wings from restaurants like that to those degrees, like those mainstream restaurants, or even just regular restaurants that are not like a Chili's or anything. A bar has always been the place to go for the best wings.
Yeah, I agree. Wing Street's on here. I haven't had them, but I think that's a Pizza Hut spinoff. I'm not surprised. I mean, listen, one of the worst wings I've ever had is Papa John's and Domino's. I feel like I'm chewing on a rubber chicken with
The
sauce.
worst. The Papa John's ones, because I've had those. Those are overpriced and just the worst. And it's like they drizzle the sauce on them like right before they push them out the door. So it's like a little bit like you can't get enough sauce on them. They don't properly. It's absolutely the worst. That is
So
that is the worst.
Learning a lot about the food industry. I'll tell you that, and people that work for places like Wawa and stuff. Like for example, the mac and cheese from Wawa is Stouffer's. 100%. They don't make it there. I know that for a fact. Now, when it comes to wings, a lot of these fucking places, like even a 7-Eleven, which 7-Eleven has a very underrated spicy wing. I had one the other day, and I was kind of impressed by it.
Oh,
not gonna lie.
Oh my God!
Are you? Did you just shit yourself?
You can ask Laura. I have gone specifically to 7-Eleven for their wings. I think that 7-Eleven's wings, especially their spicy ones,
I had it the other day.
Fucking believable. I love them. They were crunchy. They were meaty. The spice was just enough spice. They were dry.
Their pizza's bullshit.
Bullshit. I don't know about their pizza, but I've gone
it's
multiple
just a
times.
fucking tombstone pizza.
It is overpriced wings, but I spend the money if I'm there and I'm in the mood for wings because I know each and every time they are going to be delicious.
So
mic drop.
Yeah, their pizza's bullshit. Yeah. So as far as a chain place, I would go with that. Now there's a couple more on here, but we're not going to go through all of them for time's sake. Wing Street, I'm not surprised because rubber wings are the fucking worst. But another one, this place is called Zaxby's. Never been there. Offers a lot of chicken option Beyond Wings, and it's a good idea to go with those. Their wings are noted for being heavy on breading and light on the meat. And when you order a popular meal at Zaxby's called Wings and Things, you really don't get very many wings at all. Instead, you'll get lots of fries, 2 pieces of Texas toast, and some tenders, and a few of those wings that are again mostly bready. So I've had that where it's not a wing, it's a boneless wing, which is really let's just call them nuggets, but whatever. Um, a wing isn't a wing if it's not a bone because it's a wing because it was attached to a fucking bird and could have flied at one point or had some kind of wing. That's a
Yeah,
wing. That's called a fucking nugget that they're calling boneless wings. All right. I'm just letting you know you're lying to yourself if you think you're ordering wings and you're getting boneless ones.
I
Not
agree.
gaslighting yourself. You're full of shit. So they, that's one of the worst things too. If you do get that and there's like no meat in there, like, are you shitting me? Like when it feels like it's all breading. It's like when you get like a hollowed out mozzarella stick. Where's the fucking cheese at? Did it slip out of the deep fryer? Did it escape? Like the fuck, And that's the kind of shit. And Mike's right. Like there's places around me like Fingers Wings and other things are great with their tenders and their wings. Their tenders are better than their wings, in my opinion. Um, there's a place on Main Street in Mania called Goat's Beard. They call them goat nuggets, but it's really chicken. Um, boneless chicken tenders, and you don't even need sauce. They put a great sauce in there with blue cheese crumbles and give you a nice bowl. It's fucking hot, piping. It's great. Um, but a lot of these chain places, especially, and a lot of these places on this list are chain, they're using pre-made shit. So that's what kind of turned me off from it because at that point, I got an air fryer. I could just pop them bitches in the air fryer, go to Sam's Club, BJ's, or Costco and buy a whole bunch and cut my cost down by a quarter. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? If I don't want you to serve, I want you to serve me something that I can't make myself most
Absolutely.
of the time. And with wings, I can make them myself, but like Skeeter's has some decent wings. I've had their wings before. They just don't know when to put sports on TV. That's a whole nother option, but conversation. But that being said, their wings were pretty good. And PJ Williams has some good wings. Sometimes I wonder if their wings are too big, and you got to have good sauces. But you can have good wings and not have a million sauces. And Mike likes sauces that like are gonna burn his esophagus. I'm not that guy. I like a good sweet chili, like Brad was talking, honey garlic. Um, I've tried lemon pepper before. I wasn't impressed. There's other places that have that, and I'm like, okay, not horrible, not bad. Uh, Garlic parmesan is one I like. That's a good one. Teriyaki. I like mild, I like hot, I like spicy, but I don't like things like Inferno or Blazing or sign this waiver before you eat this. Mike does. He lives for that shit.
Live for it.
Live for it.
All
But
right.
listen, we're gonna end on that note, folks, because that time has come, and we got a lot. Didn't get to talk about everything, but we got to talk about the meat of it, which was the chicken wings, right? That's what you came for. Admit it. Brad
I
is
came I
moist
came
thinking
twice
about
for it.
sweet chili sauce. You did? Yeah, especially when I brought up 7-Eleven. You were like, "Oh my god." Yeah,
Yes.
those were some good spicy wings. I gotta admit, I was surprised. I was in a pinch. Don't usually like to eat at Sev, but I made it happen. So with that being said, folks, that's all we got this week. Next week we'll be back at the regular time, 6 o'clock, special Saturday edition, same place, different day, different time. I hope you are all charged up from Saturday fever and you go out and get some good wings. Other than that, this is Z Godfrey. Not saying goodbye, just saying take it deep.